What is up? Did you guys take a look at the G7 summit just happened? Oh boy, are our leaders a bunch of chumps or what? Seriously, guys, we got to do much better as as the world. We got to do much better. We got to pick some much better leaders. Uh, First of all, it was basically just, oh, let's take a bunch of pictures and blah blah blah. It was basically just photo opportunities type of crap. This is what I mean. I'm gonna show you some pictures and we're gonna talk about it. So check them out. All right. Do you guys see? The first one is they're all socially distancing. They got the masks on and they're all pandering to that crap. Then the next one said they're gonna do the elbow bump instead of just shake hands, still with the mask on. And then you got the next one where the president of France is hugging, basically hugging Biden. You know, now the last one I showed you guys on is, if you read up, it said, you know, President Macron, whatever his name is from France, said that it's good that America has a president that's part of the club, basically. It's not a direct quote. If you want the direct quote, just go back and look at the picture that I posted. He's like, oh, it's good that, the U.S. has a president that's, part of the club. What's he mean by that? What does the president of France mean by part of the club? I know we ain't part of the club. uh, that should tell you guys a lot right there. One thing should tell you is that all these leaders, really chumps, are all globalists. That's what he means, part of the club. They're all politically privileged. Again, part of the club. Now, the G7 summit, I didn't watch all of it. There's no way. But I got the gist of it. And the gist of it was, let's take some photos and pander with the social distancing and the masks some more. So we can maybe keep pushing this, lockdowns as much as we can, in Europe anyway. Even though cases are falling all over the world, continuing, even the variants. But, they're still gonna push that narrative. Why? Fear. That's basically it. It's just fear. But the real reason for the G7 summit was so they could talk about the Great Reset. Build back better. That wasn't Biden. It's not because the rest of the world leaders like Biden and love Biden so much that, oh yeah, everybody's using it now. Build back better. No, that's from the Great Reset. That's from the United Nations. Build back better. And again, our leaders are globalists. And it gets worse, actually, if you can believe that. But, so that's the whole thing, build back better. And some of the statements that they released, do your own research. Don't just take my word for it. Do your own research, look it up. It says, basically, that they're going to start in Africa, build back better infrastructure in Africa. And yes, a lot of it sounds good. They're gonna build better infrastructure, better buildings. They're gonna Wi-Fi. They're gonna install Wi-Fi all over the world and all this and climate and all this other stuff. They're gonna fight and they're gonna abolish racism, and all this other stuff. Basically. Here's really what it is. The Great Reset. They're going to start in Africa, and that's basically what this G7 summit was about. That's all you really need to know about this. It was so these chumps, these leaders, could pander, take some photos together, and talk about, okay, how are we gonna start the Great Reset? And keep going further, further, further. So they decided they're gonna start with Africa. Build back better. Now, like I said, sure, yeah, a lot of it sounds good. But at the heart of the Great Reset, you'll own nothing and be happy. So the infrastructure that they're building in Africa, who's gonna own that? You're gonna have to be part of the club that the president of France was saying? Are you gonna have to have political privilege to be part of that club in the first place? To own land? You're gonna have to be filthy rich, like Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, some of these other CEOs, Jeff Bezos. Who exactly is part of the club? Well, we know the leaders at the G-7 summit, they're definitely part of the club. President of France confirmed it for us. Even said Biden. He's glad that, it's Biden because he's part of that club. So, and of course this was all, oh yes, we're going to get together so we can combat against, China and all. No. In reality, I'm going to tell you guys, all of these leaders from the G7 summit, they're weak on China because they admire China. And then not the Chinese people. No. They admire the Chinese Communist Party. They wish they could be more like the Chinese Communist Party. That's why they let China basically get away with murder. So, basically, I think the entire reason for the G7 summit was just so they could, okay, we're going to basically start some kind of infrastructure in Africa. And we're going to build back better from there. That was basically it. The Great Reset. And now, let's break down a few aspects of the Great Reset. Like, for example, you'll own nothing and be happy. Well, being born in a communist country, to me that sounds like communism. Communist propaganda. Because you'll own nothing and be happy is kind of like an oxymoron. You know what I mean? Hey, wait a minute, I'm going to own nothing? How am I going to be happy? Not that material things should matter to you that much. I'm not, it's the feeling, the pride of owning your own house, your own place, working for it. Something that maybe you could leave to your children. So you'll own nothing and be happy. To me, it's more of the same old communist propaganda, just wrapped in a pretty new bow called the Great Reset. You'll eat less meat. That to me sounds like everybody's basically going to get a portion. Again, that's just more communism. Everybody gets their portion. Except if you're part of the club, the very elite. While everybody gets a portion and we'll be eating bugs instead of meat. They'll be eating steak like filet mignon and lobster. I guarantee it. They'll own most of the world while we own nothing. That's where we're heading. So, if you have the same point of view, the same opinion I do of these leaders, these chumps, these clowns, that they are globalists. Now, I said it's gonna get worse. They're not just globalists. They're communists on top of that. So the Great Reset, at the core, is about a global communist movement. My guess is the very top tier, few countries, maybe 10, are going to run the entire world under some type of global communist union. That's what all of this is about, guys. This isn't about them wanting to, you know, it always starts like that, like, oh, we're gonna help the working class and the lower class. It's class, it's all this class warfare. That seems to work very, very good, pushing that communist propaganda. I gotta give it to them. That's pretty bold to say. I think they took it down though, but that's still at the beginning, even though that they took it down, to say that you'll own nothing and be happy. You'll eat less meat. You'll drive less. But it's basically all communist propaganda telling you you're screwed. We're screwed. We are screwed. That's what it's telling us. But here's the thing. We are the majority. Not them. Not the ones that are in the club like President of France Macron said. Not the 1%, whoever they are all over the world, the richest of the richest. Like, I'll give you an example, like Mark Zuckerberg or Jack Dorsey or Bill Gates. Theoretically, all those people. Some politicians from around the world, they're all part of that club. When it comes down to it, it's all political privilege. So, my question is, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to let these communists take over the entire world? What's going to happen? Yeah, it may sound crazy. It may sound like a conspiracy theory and all of that. What if I'm right? Think about it. Do your own research. If you dissect what these leaders, the G-7, the Great Reset, all these world leaders getting together and talking, the core, the very core, all of it, is just that, communism. It's just on a global scale. We can't fall for it. We can't be tricked into it. We gotta stand up. We can't be afraid. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe. Smash that bell. Don't forget the bell. The bell is important. The bell is the bell. Thanks, guys. Peace.